If you've been working hard for a while now, or you know that you're about to start a big season of grind towards your goals, then you need to hear this warning. It's exactly when things are about to happen for you. It's exactly when things are about to go in your favor. And it's exactly when you're about to finally push that final domino that things get hard. Now, I am not personally a super religious person. You could say that I'm spiritual, but there is something that I've come to realize. Religious or not, spiritual or not, Satan works harder when you get closer. For those of us who have had the courage and the strength to get up and actually start and grind on something and try and force ourselves into a better life than the one we've had in the past, you need to understand that even though you might not see your progress, it is there. And when you're getting really close to success, that is when Satan works his hardest to stop you from getting there. Now, this might come in the form of a distraction or a past addiction that you've managed to kick. You're going to start to want to take your foot off the gas. You're going to start to be a little bit more lenient. Let's say you're on a diet and you're doing really well, you're losing weight, you're beginning to see your abs, whatever it is that you've been chasing. That's the time where some video is gonna pop up on YouTube of a guy eating tons and tons and tons of calories and try and convince you, maybe you should have a cheat meal. Is it really that big of a deal? Just one day? Even though you know that you can't do one day. When you have one day, it turns into a month. It turns into 6 months of you being completely off the trail. Even though you were so close to accomplishing what you wanted, that's exactly when Satan stepped in and tried to get in your way. Now, it's your job to recognize that as you get closer, he works harder. And so you need to actually say no when you're getting really close to accomplishment. And on the flip side, you might not know that you're that close to getting what you wanted, getting what you've been working for. But a good sign is that you're starting to feel like maybe I should take a break. Maybe I should take my hand off the throttle. Now, for those of you who have let Satan get in the way, let that negative force stop you on your momentum, even though you were probably this close to success, for those of you who have unfortunately given in, I have some advice for you. I have a message for you. I want you to recognize that you are not forced into failure. You are just repeatedly giving in to the temptations that you're offered. You need to stop thinking so intuitively. You need to stop thinking, you know what, I've worked hard enough that I deserve that cheat meal. I've worked hard enough that I deserve to just take a week off. You need to set objective periods of time where you've blocked off anything from getting in your way. If you say you're doing a 2-week challenge, then that means 14 days. It doesn't matter if it's somebody's birthday on the 10th day or on the 11th day. You're saying no. You're saying focused because you know what gets in your way and you know how important it is that you don't get off the trail. Similarly, if you're doing a 30-day or a 60-day or a 90-day challenge, there are going to be things that come up and you're going to, again, have to say no. You're going to have to say no to those temptations because those are the things ultimately that when you say yes to them, those are the things that are convincing you that you're doomed or you're just destined for failure. When that's not true, you're not being forced into failure. You are just routinely giving into the temptations that you're offered. And so you need a tool to counteract that. And now finally, guys, I'm going to remind you that failure is not a separate path from success. Failure is on the same path to success. Every single time you fail, that's just another step up the ladder that's climbing you to where you want to go, as long as you keep moving. Failure is only failure if you stop. And even though Satan's working harder when you get close, and you might be routinely giving into those temptations, you might have failed and it might be hard for you to get back up. But I want to share with you a final message. You need to have the courage to forgive yourself from being the person that you're working to graduate from. I'm going to repeat that for you. You need to have the courage to forgive yourself for being the person that you are working to graduate from. Now, one of the ways that Satan will try and keep you down when he's managed to get in your way is to convince you not only that you have failed, but that you, in your identity, are a failure. And that's why you need to have the courage to recognize that even though, yes, you've made mistakes and you're trying to learn, it all goes back to that ladder. You've made mistakes and you've failed, but they're not really true failure unless you stop climbing. So guys, I'm going to remind you of the 3 points that I made in this video and hope that you take them with you along your journey. The first one was that as you get closer, Satan works harder. And so it's right when you're about to succeed, it's right when you're this close that those temptations are going to come in and try and pull you off your trail. Now, speaking of those temptations, the second point was that you are not forced into failure. Do not make the mistake of thinking that you are doomed or you are just destined to failure. You are not forced into failure. You are just routinely giving into the temptations that you are offered. You need to set boundaries, clear boundaries with those around you, but most importantly, within yourself, to understand that you are not going to give in to those temptations for an objective period of time or till an objective accomplishment has been accomplished. And finally, for those of you who have failed repeatedly and are still climbing that ladder, I commend you. you need to remember that you have to have the courage to forgive yourself for being the person that you are working to graduate from. Because if you are just stuck there, then Satan has managed to get in your way permanently. And we cannot have that, because we both know that you're out here to put a dent in the universe. So I hope that helped. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Spencer with Must Become. Always remember that your potential is your obligation, and so what you can become, you must become.